Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, Mohammed. Hola, amigo. How are you all today? All right, I'm not gonna delay this session after hearing how are you all. We will begin immediately. Good afternoon, Shadi. All good. Thanks for the feedback. All right. So we're gonna begin. The usual question: who on this call has the Copilot license? Raise your hand or type in the chat if you have the Copilot license. Ankit, yep, you do. Brilliant. Only Ankit. Yep. All right. For this webinar, what we can do is, so you can interact with me because this is a very interactive one. I won't do much of the talking. We will work together. All right. So we will use a free version of Copilot where you can work with me. All right. But first of all, let's break the ice and have an activity. Together. It's a quick trivia. Let's get to know whether you are aware of Copilot capabilities or not. Let me reshare just a second. Tell me if you can see my screen. Do you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Thank you, Abdelhadi. Thank you. All right, so there's a QR code. Feel free to scan it. If you're joining us from the phone and you won't be able to scan, what you can do is go to, you don't need to download anything. Go to kahoot.it. I'm going to type it in the chat window, kahoot.it, and then add the game pin, which is this one, and you will land with us. The link is here with the game pin added to the chat area. So let me see you in the lobby. We have one joiner so far. We have 7 in the call, 6 actually. Yep. Unless you're joining us, Mariam. In fact, join us. There you are. So 5 so far. If you have any difficulty joining the Kahoot, let me know. And meanwhile, let me explain this to you. Maybe you've never played Kahoot before. Well, Kahoot is a game of questions, all right? And then there will be a timer on that question. So you gotta hurry up and pick the correct answer. The faster you choose the correct answer, the more points you get, all right? So, and one more point, Kahoot has to be the active interface on your phone. The minute you switch to any other application, Kahoot will kick you out of the session. All right. So please keep Kahoot the active interface because I've seen one of you got dropped out of the session now. Shall we begin? So number 6, you've been dropped. Jump back to the Kahoot. If you still can't see your name in here, refresh the page. We have Mariam, Ankit, Shadi, Abdelhadi, and someone with the code on his name or her name. Maybe you want to modify your name. just to interact with you and call you. We have Muhammad. All right, let's begin. Are you ready? So what is Microsoft 365 Copilot designed to do? Yep, brilliant. Moving on, let's see who got it first. That was Shadi. Next question. So which Microsoft 365 apps does Copilot integrate with? Nicely done. Next. Still Shadi was the quickest. In Microsoft Word, Copilot can help you with what exactly? Yep. Shadi is on fire. Which of the following is not a capability of Microsoft in Copilot, sorry, a capability of Copilot in Microsoft Excel? Yep, it won't predict any stock prices, but it would summarize trends. Yeah, it will. Let's move on. In Word, it can help in writing and summarizing emails. Yep. True or false? Well, it can access the data it learned from the internet. All right, that's the main thing. True or false? You must have a Microsoft Copilot license to use the full features of Microsoft 365 Copilot. Do you? True, you do. True or false? Copilot always gives 100% accurate answers. So reviewing output is unnecessary. Mm-hmm. With Gen AI, we know for a fact we always review. Can I use everyday Arabic to do so? I'm asking you, can I use simple Arabic? Can I use accents with Copilot in Arabic?
Never tried, not
Ankit?
sure.
Ankit confirm no. Have you tried it? All right. Arafat is here as well. Nice. Well, the answer is yes, I can. And I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to say this in Arabic. Um, Instead of saying البريد الإلكتروني, I can say email and it would understand it. All right. So slang, accent, and so on, it does understand. And I can even ask Copilot to write a speech in proper Arabic or write a speech in a specific accent. All right. Gulf accent and so on. And it would work. All right, there's a slider for you to choose the year where Microsoft announced Copilot, Microsoft 365 Copilot. Five seconds. Yep. Some people just said 21, others answered 23, which is the correct answer. Let's see how many. Four of you. Brilliant. Let's see who are they. All right. Next. Type the answer. Copilot and PowerPoint can help you create slides from a what? Type the answer. From a prompt. Two got it right. All right, nice. Next. Puzzle. You gotta arrange the correct order from the top to the bottom. Yep. You gotta open the document first, go to Copilot, choose whatever you want, and then review the result. Double points. Which license is required to use 365 Copilot features in your apps? Correct. Double points. Brilliant. Last question. Double points. If you want to brainstorm new ideas using Copilot, which app is the best starting point? Microsoft Word, indeed, based on what you have in here. All right. Let's see the podium. And the winners are Anke third, Muhammad second, and first place is Shadi. Then we have fourth and fifth places as follow. Thank you for participating in this trivia. Let the fun begin. All right. Okay, in our agenda today, basically, yes, Ankit, you had your hand up. Want to say anything? Congratulations, first of all, all the five of you, and thank you for participating. All right, someone is typing. Muhammad is typing. Let's see what you want to say before we carry on. Are you typing by mistake? Because we're waiting for you. Yeah. All right. So today our title is Designing a Dream Destination with AI. We will see how to build context to Copilot in order to achieve what we want. We will be creating images, but then you can generalize the learning out of this session on other projects. The whole idea is to go through writing effective prompts, right? That's the main idea in here. So let me move straight to the main slides and skip the intro part, get to the exciting stuff. All right. So, what is Microsoft Copilot? I believe everyone in this session knows exactly what Copilot is, right? Basically, it's an AI-powered assistant that you can interact with on the Microsoft Copilot website or the Copilot pan in Edge, or the daily application that you use, like PowerPoint, Excel apps. And then we have another flavor of Copilot in your mobile devices. If you go to the App Store, you will find two versions of Copilot. One is just called Microsoft Copilot. The other one is called Microsoft 365 Copilot. The Microsoft Copilot is a consumer Copilot. It's for those who doesn't have the license. But the Microsoft 365 Copilot is for those who has the license, where it will allow you to access your corporate environment and corporate data. All right. So what can I do with Copilot? Well, you can ask a question and then allow it to answer them. You can brainstorm ideas. It will generate content for you, and those content could be emails, documents, codes. All right, generating creative content like stories and poems and so on. Believe it or not, nowadays, the bedtime stories of my kids, I use Copilot. All right. Um, again, organize tasks if you want. You can do a whole research within Copilot. You can generate images or engage in conversations and ask Copilot questions and so on. So these are some of the capabilities that I can use Copilot in. But if I don't write the right prompt, Copilot will not get me the right result. We've seen this, and we talked about this in previous webinars, right? Microsoft Copilot is built on generative AI, and it uses large language model at the back end. So the large language model has been trained with huge volume of text, right? And LLM is it's a special type of machine learning models, right? That can represent semantic relationships between words and phrases. It understands that happily could mean joyfully, and it understands the context, all right? This enables generating grammatically correct language in responses to prompts easier, right? So if you have a question, throw it. Regardless of the question, it will understand the context and then it will reply. This vast amount of data that the model was trained on gives it a huge general knowledge base on which to base its responses and enable it to respond in a way that is often indistinguishable from human being, right? But without the right prompt engineering, it might generate text which is obvious it's not a human being who wrote this text. So we need to use prompt engineering in order to enhance the responses from Copilot. These are some guidelines for you to write an effective prompt. While some Copilot provides buttons and other visual tools to interact with the language model and to immediately throw prompts instead of writing them, but most of the time you will be typing the prompt or hitting the mic button in order to speak on your own natural language, and then Copilot will write the prompt for you. All right. That's being said, to get the best out of your Copilot, you're going to need to provide a source. We call it ground. All right. We call it grounding Copilot. Let me get my pen just a second. There we go. You're going to need to provide, first of all, a source. Just a second, because it's not allowing me to annotate. Now it will. Here we go. Source, that's the ground for the response. All right. So where do you want Copilot to get the data from? That's the most important part. All right. And then number two, state a specific goal in mind. Start with the goal in mind. All right. For what you want the Copilot to do. Number three, add context to maximize responses, appropriateness, and relevance. So don't just say, generate an article about Qatar Vision 2030. Who is this article going to be read by? Who's the target audience? What's the level of information? Is it an article for a magazine or a web, or you just want to write a LinkedIn post about it? Provide some context, all right, to maximize the benefit. Context, goal. Then set clear expectations. Do you want bullet point? How do you want the structure? Do you want the tone to be narrative? Do you want the tone to be formal? And so on. And at the end, prompt engineering is an iterative approach. So you write, you find the result, you write again to enhance, or write a prompt again to enhance the result. So iterate based on previous prompts and responses to refine the result. Microsoft Copilot does not just send your prompt as it is to the language model. Microsoft Copilot will apply responsible AI model on your prompt to make sure that your the generated result is safe, inclusive, data privacy is there, no data leakage, and so on. And on top of this, it will apply a couple of other components. One of them is called a system message, all right? So the system message, this is where I set conditions and constraints for the language model on how it should behave. So for instance, a system message could be act as a creative content writer, right? That's a system message. Now Copilot knows the persona and knows how to interact. A system message could be, and by the way, you can write those system messages. You can set the persona on Copilot. You can start by identifying who is Copilot. So you start by saying, you are a project manager. Now your request, help me plan for a strategic plan for 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. All right. So that will act as a system message that will be applied to all the following prompts within that conversation. All right. And then one more thing added to every prompt is the conversation history for the current session. So it always remember the previous history on that current session, like all the other Gen AI tools. And then, of course, the current prompt. Do you have any questions so far? Let me get the chat up here to keep an eye on your messages. Are we going to receive the material recording afterwards? Yes. As usual, Shadi, after the session ends, you receive the recordings, all right? So let me conclude this slide. If you don't have any question, let me conclude by saying the success you have with Copilot actually depends largely on how well you craft your prompts. The importance of using good prompts has led to a new discipline of prompt engineering. Back in the days when search engines used to be the best thing that happened to the internet, we had to know search engine techniques, all right? And some of you might know this. We have something called dorks and hacks, okay? We use with search engines in order to specify the file type I'm looking for, the website I'm looking for, and so on. Now, the best thing that happens to the internet is the Gen AI. So you need to learn how to write prompts so you can get the right results. Today,
Ayman,
we will.
I have a
Yes,
question.
please. Tell me. I'm all ear.
I mean, based on the latest updates for, I mean, Copilot or other engines as well, do we need to like start by saying like you are a 20-year consultant, you know, something like that, or
Yes,
do we not need to do
yes.
that anymore?
You need to do that. You need to do that. You need to set the persona, even with the new updates, because, um, like I mentioned in previous webinars, you're talking to someone who has all the knowledge in the internet and everything written, okay, in books and so on. So if you let it to Copilot, it might get you information or generate responses from sources that you don't want, using frameworks that you don't want, using standards that you don't want. So the more specific you are on the prompt, the more clear you are on the prompt, the better the result that you will get. All right, and trust me, I'm using this. Okay, I set the persona first. I get better results straight to the point. Because when you tell Copilot you have 20 years experience, and no need for the 20 years experience, by the way. You just need to tell it your experience. A project manager who runs the PMO office, for instance, whatever. Now you're specifying the domain of this conversation. So now Copilot knows to bring all the project management standards and frameworks next to it ready for your question and to answer you with the right language and terminology and so on. This could be by setting the persona for the AI or setting or identifying your persona. Albani, vocal prompt option in how many language recognition type is available. Well, I'm gonna have to check the documentation, Albani, for that. A very nice question. Let me check documentation for you. Um, um, Very good question. And when people say that's a very good question, it means they don't have an answer. So let me check the documentation. I'm interested in knowing as well. All right. Prompts and responses. They're not talking about the mic here and the spoken language, but in general, Copilot supports all of these languages. Yeah. So let me see if I can find something related to speaking to Copilot. Language support, Microsoft Copilot, understand how support regions. And every time, every couple of months, they add new language support. I believe all the language that it understands, you can speak with. All right? Because when you create an agent, it will understand all of these. Yeah, beside English and Arabic and so on. So I believe any language, but let's confirm this. I believe any language where it can generate content with, it would understand. Yeah, that's from the top of my head. Take a deeper look at this documentation I'm sharing on voice support. There we go. There we go. We arrived. Here you go. Interactive voice responses, all of these language. All right, so there's a section on the link I shared called interactive support, where I'm sharing direct link to this section here. All right, nice question. Okay, another question from Shadi. When we quantify the response, like he said, 5 bullet points, should we keep it limited to a small amount? Can we ask for 200 bullet points? Will it start hallucinating or become insufficient about okay. Well, if you specify the source of the data correctly, you will reduce the possibility of hallucination. Yeah. So if I give Copilot a particular document and then I ask to summarize it, even if or create bullet points out of it and huge number, that would work fine. But if I leave it to Copilot to get me data from its own training data, there is a higher chance of hallucination. Yes. All right. All right. All right. Who else? Another question. Anytime. Anytime. So that's clear. What we want to do is to create now a dream destination, a restaurant and a dream destination. We will see how to set the context, the persona, more details. Brainstorm with Copilot. Let Copilot generate ideas for us, and then we pick the idea that we want and carry on. At the end, what I want from you is you will work with me step by step, okay? And what I want from you is in one slide or one note or anything, just share with me the output generated by Copilot, like this, okay? The menu, the place, the exterior, okay? And briefly tell me what did you learn about how to converse with Microsoft Copilot from this session. And can you think of any other project or task related to your environment where you can reflect this learning out of this session on? I need this from you. Let's begin. All right. So, to begin this journey, I know not all of you have Copilot license. So what we can do is we can go to Copilot on web. So please access the link I'm sharing on the chat window, which is copilot.microsoft.com, and sign in with your personal account. So let me sign in with my personal account first, and then I'll bring back the window. All right. Please let me know when you sign up. When you sign in, sorry. Brilliant. I can, okay. Let's give it a minute for everyone to sign in. So as I was saying, in this exercise, we will try designing a dream destination. So to get started, you will need to define and refine your ideas for an AI-generated destination location. So first, you get creative and come up with a core concept. Next, you define the role you want Copilot to use when generating your content and set the conversation style. Let's see how. I'm going to share with you one prompt, all right, on the chat window where you can use the same prompt. Let me just paste it here first, send it, then paste it here on the chat window for you to try it by the time we look at it. So we started by saying you see, we've started setting the persona, all right? So you are an extraordinary experimental designer, and you possess a unique talent for crafting immersive experience that ignite the senses and transport photons on the realm of pure magic, whatever. So we're setting the persona. Now, um, following up with some more details for the Copilot, then adding your creative prowess knows no limit as you dream up. So you're setting the persona and you're trying to set, not, it's not context yet, but you're still trying to guide the whole conversation, the whole following prompts on this session will stick to everything you wrote on this prompt. With your remarkable ability to engage multiple scenes, you have the power to create unforgettable moments that to the rest of it. So take a look at the prompt, copy it, paste it, let's see the result. And there we go. Copilot understands, all right? And it knows that crafting an experience that ignites the senses and transports people into something extraordinary and so on. You've painted an incredible picture of what to the rest of it. Now let's dive into it. What kind of experience are you or do you have in mind? Are we talking about a full immersive installation, an event? Now it knows well how creative you want it, but still it doesn't know what exactly do you want. So now we need to define your idea. So you either stick to the prompt or come up with three main points on your idea if you want to change the prompt. Come up with a place you want this prompt to be about, a theme, and a location. Okay. So example of places that could be a restaurant, hotel, a spa, zoo, theme park, whatever. And what's the theme, right? The theme could be gothic, futuristic, mid-century, a reference to a movie, a horror movie, or a fantasy movie, whatever. Location, that's like behind a waterfall in the rainforest and the water and the outer space. You choose that if you want to change the flow of our prompts. But if you don't want to change the flow of our prompts, maybe we stick to the prompts we have in hand. Let me paste the next prompt here in the chat window where we told Copilot, I have an idea that I want to work on for this project, and I will provide some bullet points. You see, you're as if you're saying to Copilot, don't start cracking now. I'm still gonna give you more content, right? So wait, can you help me create a paragraph with a travel marketing tone? Set the tone, expectation, and embellish on details that really brings this idea to life. It should capture the following points. So do not give this destination a name. Focus on what makes this destination unique. And we will brand and name this experience later. All right. So we want a new destination experience. We want it cozy and so on. This is a restaurant. All right. And then some more details about the theme and about how do you want the scene to look like? All right, mysterious and hidden and so on. And then Copilot replies, yep, I got it. And then it gives you more of its understanding to what you want. So I'm going to let you read this in more details and then we will move on. 2 minutes, and then we will carry on. In these 2 minutes, you will pass the first and second prompt or modify the second prompt with a common place of your choice, a theme and a location, and then we will carry on. All right. So, assuming that you arrived at the last response of Copilot from the key takeaways and learning from this part is that, and I've added it for your reference on the chat window. You need to begin with setting the conversation style to determine the type of responses you want from Copilot. All right. Like when you said, Copilot, be more creative and enable longer and more imaginative details and so on. So you're setting the tone and you're setting the conversation style, all right? Then develop content efficiently um, uh, before you start working with Copilot. So spend some time on the core idea presented in bullet points and let Copilot craft content to incorporate those bullet points that you wanted to share with Copilot. Third, create content suitable for your audience by specifying the tone or voice or who are the audience or what age are these audience on and so on, whether they're students, employees, executives, and so on. Explore ways to refine your prompt. So you need to consider inclusion or exclusion in your prompt. Clarity is important. What to include, what not to include. Second, be direct. Direct the length of desired output, such as the character counts that you want, how many characters in the image if you want to create an image, sentence length, the number of paragraphs, the number of bullet points, and so on. Lastly, provide more context. The more context you provide, the better Copilot will understand what you want. If you are done with this second prompt, let's now create what we call the hero image. And a hero image is the biggest image on the picture. So the picture might have background and some elements, design elements, but then the main entity is the hero image. So let's set this hero image together. So we're gonna build on the previous conversation with Copilot because now it understands the context, how creative I want it to be, now I would go like, can you create an image that visualizes the exterior of this destination from a distance? You see, adding this prompt that I shared in the chat. Thanks for sharing what you created. Yes. Okay. Now try this prompt, Sharafat. Okay. So it will create the image based on the discussions we had and the way we imagined this mysterious hidden place. But I specified that I want the exterior, right? Not the interior. And I mentioned earlier it's a restaurant on my prompt from a distance. Okay. So take a look. That's the image generated for me. Share with me the image generated for you. All right, Alban. Nice. Albani, sorry. Nice, nice. Ankit is sharing something. Nice. Very nice. So, what did we learn from this prompt? Um, there is what we call multidimensional models, and those multidimensional models are models that sorry, not multidimensional, my bad, multi-models. All right. So the term multi-models or multi-model refers to those AI models who can do multiple things, like generate text and generate images. So now we know Copilot has multi-model capabilities. All right, it can generate and take input from both text and images. All right. And then Copilot can reference the conversation history as well and remember the history and then apply that on the following prompts. All right. That was the learning and takeaway from this part of the activity. Sharafat is sharing another image. Nice one. Some fairy tales and. All right. Now, let's make together a grand entrance. Okay. So we want from Copilot for this destination, I want to think about the entrance. It should embrace the theme of this destination and should be memorable as it's the first interaction a visitor will have. Can you suggest three ideas for the entrance to this destination that fulfill the criteria? All right. So this part of the project, we will call it the entrance. So when you mention something like this to Copilot, this allows you to recall this name. And then you go like, okay, remember the entrance? I want you to modify one, two, three, four, and then it would modify it. So always name the parts of the content generated. All right. I'm going to share this one, copy it, and share it with you in the chat window. No need to type all of this, just copy and paste, right? And there you go. Share with me the three suggestions provided by Copilot, all right? In my case, it suggested the hidden gateway, and then it went for this luminous canopy walk, and then look at the names. Even it suits the whole theme. All right. So share with me the ideas generated by Copilot. And of course, remember that you can ask Copilot to refine the ideas or generate more ideas if you don't like the three ones it generated. Perhaps you'd rather try to make the entrance behind a waterfall or underground. So you can specify more details and play with this prompt the way we want. All right. So maybe I'll go like I like the idea about the, the hidden the hidden gateway. Um, can you elaborate on it? So I've added the hidden gateway from my suggestions. You add something that you like from the suggestions that Copilot provided you with. So I'm gonna copy the prompt and pass it to you. And let's build this one together. Thanks for sharing, Albani. The hidden path and different ones as well. The suspended crossing, brilliant. So it's elaborating now and telling me more details about the hidden gateway. Yeah. So take a minute, modify this, copy it, paste it, so on. I like the description, but this is more of a novel description, okay, for this thing. What we want is to rewrite the description in the tone that you'd find in a travel publication. Please keep it to a single paragraph. I don't want an article. So I'm pasting the prompt again on the chat window so you can copy it. And there we go. Nested deep with an ancient forest where towering trees wave an ancient. Yes, that's the tone that suits my story. So now the point is I'm able to modify the tone for the description. Maybe this is the service description. Maybe this is the product description for your entity. Now we can ask Copilot to create the image. All right, there we go. Share with me the image that you got from Copilot. This was my image because it's a hidden gateway, right? So it's right in the middle of the tree, mysterious. It makes you want to go in and see what's going on in this tree. Share with me the images. All right, nice, nice, Ankit. And by the way, I can speak to Copilot. I don't have to write a prompt, remember? So I can go like, can you generate another image? All right.
That's a pretty captivating entrance idea, Amon. What's your next step for this project?
Uh,
Yep.
are you hearing? Are you hearing this? Or maybe I'm not sharing audio. Um, uh, so audio is there. I can speak to it. Okay. So it gives me audio feedback, and then I can interact and so on. So in short, the key take is that you need to use conversational context for prompts, and you can direct Copilot based on the conversation or events in the last responses and so on. So you can build on top of it. You can copy edit content, all right? Iterate upon generated responses by providing detailed direction, all right? Beside the voice input that we just demonstrated. The voice, this one. There is a mic button over here. All right, Sharafat is sharing pictures, and then we have as well some, oh, Shadi. Shadi is mysterious eyes. Okay, nice, brilliant. Now, our next step is to brainstorm some destination features, all right? So any destination location might have various interior and exterior spaces. So these are the features of your idea. So let's use Copilot to brainstorm and visualize some creative ideas for those features, specs, spaces, whatever you name it. So I have a ready-made prompt in here where we go, let me paste it in the chat window while I'm reading it. So we are now going to work on the part of the project called the features, right? So I can refer to that later. Now, give me what you know about this destination. Can you given what you know about this destination, can you suggest 5 unique interior or exterior features or specs that people might visit, spend time in, or enjoy? Please list them with the name following the description. So the point here is that I can specify the format of the generated response. All right. I want this followed by this. I want this structure. I want it in a table. These are the columns. So all of these details should be mentioned in your prompt. Sharing this with Copilot. Let's see. We have some sort of a lounge, and then a whispering walkway, and then we have the secret gathering chamber. And yeah, here are the 5 ideas, all right, with their details. So we specified the features. So let's expand on some ideas. Okay. Let's say that I really want to work on visualizing a few of these ideas. You see, at first you begin the prompt with what you want to do on this part of the conversation. Then you add some context or more details of what you want to do. So let's work on the first idea called the canopy lounge, right? There you go. Then you can follow up with something like, can you rewrite this description? Alternative names. All right, so I can go like, all right, let me put a full stop here and then go like, can you rewrite the description on a travel publication tone, all right, and keep it about the same length? And can you also suggest alternative names? Yeah, I'm still considering more options for this name. So the point is, I can take one of the suggested ideas, elaborate on them, or maybe change just a little bit part of it. So it's a small brainstorming about a particular suggestion. And then I got my description that I requested and different names, the sky nest, maybe the whispering, whatever, the twilight, whatever. So I got the 3 ideas that I want. Now let's create an image. All right. So now I can go like, all right, I don't want to say the second idea. I like the sky nest actually. I like the sky nest, right? So I like the sky nests idea you propose. Can you create an image to visualize what you call the sky nest? So Skynest is from my prompt. You can change it to your prompt or your generated result. And I'm sharing the prompt here on the chat for you to try. So modify that based on the context generated by your Copilot. And there we go. I got my Skynest idea visualized. In short, Copilot understands complex directives, right? So a single prompt can have several tasks to do as long as you structure it correctly. All right. Share with me the images you received. Albani shared something very nice. That's shared by Albani. Okay. And then we have Ankit. Okay. Nice. Following the same theme. I like that. Brilliant. Are you downloading those images? You have to download those images. Nice. This is from Shurafat, yes. Snipping. Yeah, you can download it. There is a download button. The same way I downloaded this one. There's a download button here. All right. And by the way, always give feedback to Copilot, because if you don't like something, Copilot will not generate the same design. Again, the same. It won't do the same mistakes. So give feedback. That's what we call tuning the model. Now, for this destination, let me paste this to you here so you can use it. All right. So for this destination we have been working on together, I'd like to think about food option available. All right. Maybe you add a space. This part of the project is called the food. Okay. And then you can space it like this. You can add sections, and that makes it even better. All right. You can add sections like this. Maybe this is one section, but then this is another section. That's where we called it the food. Now this is where we need more details. So could you create a menu formatted as a table, which includes the name and the description? The description should clearly outline the ingredients and how it's served. The name and description should also embrace the theme of our destination. So please provide 5 ideas. There we go. And here is the table. Dish name, the description, you got the different 5 ideas following the same theme. Hopefully you got yours. Now let's create the image. So can you create an image for the first menu item suggested? So the first menu item suggested was this one, the Whispering Groove Platter. So let's see. Yes, this one. All right. And that's the prompt. And then you can go like, okay, can you create an image for, and then give it a name. This item, for instance, for not pasting, I did not copy. Second, for a reason, it's not copying for me. Okay, I'm gonna have to type it. Ember is woodland. Steve. So choose, yeah, didn't copy, right? So choose the menu item, create an image for it. Maybe you do the same for the rest of them to have your menu ready, all right? And don't forget to download, okay? Now that we've complete, Albani, are you typing something? You want to tell us something? Yeah, typing manual works. Yes, it worked with me as well. So now we're done with the food menu. Let's say you've generated all the different dishes. Let's talk about drinks now, right? Beverage. So there we go. Now, a signature drink is a refreshment that truly embodies the theme of the destination. It should be unique, and then you started explaining how do you want the drink. So, of course, it got you some collections it found online, okay, as a response that meets the requested type of drinks, but then you want to follow up and you go like, we need to ideate about a signature drink. Don't get me details from the internet. It should embrace the theme and so on. And now your final claim is, can you give me 3 ideas for signature refreshments or drinks? And then you carried on explaining. Meanwhile, let me paste the prompt. Nice picture, Albani. Nice picture. All right, it makes me hungry. Okay, so then absolutely here are the drinks, all right? And remember, here we did not mention the format. We didn't say put it in a table and so on. So it just decided to put them as numbered points, all right? That's been said, let's create the images for those drinks. Can you create an image to visualize the first drink you suggested called, and then this was from the different result. So let me modify it and put it like this. In your case, it could be, can you create an image of visualize the first drink? Okay, and this would do it. If you want the full prompt, write a similar prompt to what I mentioned, mentioning exactly the drink from the suggested options to Copilot. You know the drill, share with me the images. All right, take a look at this. We got the image that we want. All right, so the key takeaways is that in one place I can write a prompt, yeah, to research. So Copilot can get me from its own learning data from the internet, um, uh, the content for me to help me research and ideate, right? And then on the same place, I can start creating content, right? So go. By the way, but the question on the Kahoot, what I mentioned, Copilot does not search the internet. My mistake, all right? I've done it false by mistake. It's true. It does search the internet and get you current content, all right? My bad, I admit. So yes, so it can search the web. It can provide links if you want. It can provide references if you asked for. This is part of the multimodal capability in Copilot. These are the key takeaways of this section of the activity we have. And if you want, Copilot, of course, doesn't create music, but if you have another tool that creates music, maybe you want to ideate some to create some ideas around music and theme and so on. So maybe you can use such a prompt. We need to think about music. This part of the project is called the music. You can create a table of 10 songs with the artist and song name that would fit the theme of this destination, right? And then we're asking for famous songs and so on. But I can ask Copilot to generate prompts to use in other sound generating tools, and then leverage that in the other tool to create my own music. All right. So, for instance, I can go to, if I want to create sounds and music and so on, maybe I can go to 11 Labs, all right? That's one of the websites that can help you create audio and sound effects and music and so on. So go to 11 Lab, but write the prompt here first and take the prompt and run it in 11 Labs. All right. The last part of our activity is about creating branding material. We already generated almost everything we need to bring this idea to life. Now let's use Copilot to create some basic branding for this destination. Maybe a catchy name for this destination, maybe a short description for to capture its essence and so on. So we have a prompt that we can use. This is the prompt me passing to Copilot. I'm passing it on the chat menu for you to try. Okay, now given everything we have worked on around this new destination we created, it's time to come up with, you see, it's a conversation, okay? It's a conversation. Don't just give it orders. It works better this way. Can you suggest a few options for a catchy name for the destination along with a short, one sentence, but be specific, one sentence tagline? There you go. These are some suggestions for names. Pick the name that you like. All right. And after you select the name or the tagline that you want, you can write now a short description for the place. All right, I'll go for this one. So I'll go with this one. All right. Now I'll go like can you create a 3-sentence description about this? And I got my description. And that description, we said marketing material. This could be on the website. This could be on the brochure. This could be on whatever digital material that I want to print this. All right. Do you have any questions so far? No questions? All right, you might want to try something. You can click on the plus sign and upload an image and then use it as a reference in your prompt and ask Copilot to use it to do something, okay? As well, or a document and so on. So whatever Copilot supports, all right? Now, that's been said, every prompt I wrote here, every idea we did, every activity we did today can be found on this website I'm sharing on the chat window, aka.ms explore copilot. All right. So the idea of this webinar, unlike previous webinars where we went into technicality of drafting content and writing present and creating presentations and so on, we wanted to have a very light webinar today where we just explore public Copilot. So all of you would have the possibility to try with me. We want it to be an interactive session, unlike previous webinars, because some of you don't have the license and you couldn't really follow me during the webinar, right? But this was a chance for us to engage and interact. But we will go back to the technicality through the other webinars yet to come on April and May as well. All right. If you don't have any question, we reach the end of our session for today. Remember to try this website for you to explore more of Copilot capability. And if you don't have any question, I have three for you. So can you tell me what is the significance of providing specific details when asking Copilot to suggest a name for the destination?
The more specific you are, it generates the more perfect image or content for you.
Yes. So from the options you would go with?
Name alone to make sure that the name, to generate the name accurately, exactly.
True.
The third one.
True. Brilliant. Next, what is the main benefit of using the multi-model capability in Copilot?
The third option.
The third option, multimodal, it allows the Copilot to perform actions and tasks within the chat without leaving the browser. Do you want to reconsider?
Second one?
Second option.
Second one says it allows the Copilot to search the web for web-related content based on the chat history. This is not part of multimodal. Multimodal, look, it's either an image generation model or a chat or text generation model. But if you can do both of them, we call it multimodal. So the answer is it allows the Copilot to understand image shared in the chat as well as the chat language itself.
Description.
Yeah.
I just tried this, adding the image and then modifying it. I forgot.
Yeah, share with us the modification or a screenshot of the prompt where you added the image and the result. Now, how do you refine image output using Copilot?
Second option.
Second one.
Second option, use descriptive modifiers in the prompt and craft an image prompt with more details. All right, brilliant, brilliant. So this is it. Now I will be sharing with you an achievement code to redeem your badge. Celebrate the new skills you learned. Share it on social media, on LinkedIn. Don't forget to tag me. And congratulations. Allow me a second to share these details with you. And the last activity, as usual, is to share with us your feedback for the session. Just allow me a second. My document is stuck. I'm going to have to reboot it. Thank you, Shadi. Okay, so this will be all right, it's easier. Look, I'll share with you a QR code and a link to click on the chat window to retrieve the achievement, the badge, the digital badge immediately. Okay, so this is it's shared already. Let me just show you the QR code if you want to scan from your phone. Maybe you signed in already to Microsoft Learn on your phone. Otherwise, just click on the link. This QR code is for you to redeem your achievement. And then we have another QR code for you to do the post-training evaluation. So here is the second QR code for the post-training evaluation. And I'm going to share it as a link as well for those who'd like to do it from here immediately. Can we upload multiple files together? Ankit, on the free version, I didn't try it. So why don't you try it and let us know? On the public one, I didn't try it. I tried it on the corporate one and it works fine. So try
I
it,
tried,
Ankit,
but
and do let
when
us
I'm
know.
uploading the single file and try to upload the second one, it is replacing the first one.
It's
It's not
processing the
taking
first one immediately?
replacing. It's replacing.
Ah, so it allows only one for the free one. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Now we got. Thanks for the question, Ankit, and thanks for answering it.
Thank you.
So I'm gonna leave you with this achievement code to retrieve your digital badge, and this one will add the course content on your profile as well, so you can go back to your profile at any point of time and try those examples, modify them, tailor them to your context and tasks and so on. And then lastly, we would like you to share with us your feedback about this session. Oops. You generated one for your son, Sharafat? All right, nice. Very nice. My son's birthday is tomorrow, so now after the session, I'm gonna redo the whole prompts we've done to ideate a something for my son. I'll be displaying on the I'll be looping those pictures on TV during the birthday. So yeah. Okay. I'm not gonna leave you empty-handed. There is this website for you, which is the prompt library. I shared it in previous webinars. I'm gonna share it again. And then if you feel like I need to step back and to get started with Copilot in more business-oriented manner, I want to see it in different Microsoft 365 apps, then you need to visit the second link. I'll be pasting all these links on the chat window right the way you got them. So this is your next step on your learning journey. So if you don't have any question, Albani is typing. I'd like to thank you all for joining this session. And thanks for those who engaged and interacted. Thanks for those returning visitors who attended with me the other webinars. And I like the spirit. You always engage and you always ask questions, and you made this session successful. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your time. I wish you all the best on your future endeavors. Have a good one. Bye bye.